Is it difficult for you to give up the DIY and have somebody else kind of taking the reins to a degree?
No, you know what? I was saying even in another interview, some guy asked about, like, if you guys did another video, he's like, would you want to be the artistic kind of director in it, or would you let someone else do it? And I said, oh man, I'd let someone else do it, no problem. Like, if we had someone come in to say, Dave Gold, stand there, wear this, do that, I'd be like, oh, it's beautiful, it's perfect. Because over the years, it's like, there's a thrill in kind of doing so much on your own. But I mean, we as a band have always made so many decisions on our own, and sometimes you don't even have all the information. It's just us, and at the end of the day, we have to make some decision in order to move things forward. And sometimes we were successful, and sometimes we failed at it. And so I think I really enjoy this phase of it, because again, I think that we spent maybe a few too many years being an independent band, and so we did have maybe a few years where we were still doing a lot of work, but it really didn't feel exciting anymore. I felt like we were doing another record, and we were doing the same things over again, and we were talking to a lot of the same people, and we weren't really growing. And so now it was just exciting because we have other people to bounce ideas off, and Earache's been in the business since the 80s, so and they understand how the business works, better than we've been able to learn it on our own,
Right.
So I mean, we're able to ask their advice, and it turns out that they're right. Like, they know kind of they're able to advise us when they're like, no, that's probably a bad decision, and then they say, we'd rather you do this. So that's great. We're ready for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's great that they're willing to support Woods 4 and not kind of force you to go right back and record right away and put something else out first before they before they'd lend their support.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is ideal, the way that it's happening, because I certainly would be disappointed if it's something like Woods 4 came out, and then just like you're saying, that the first thing we would do with Earache is this new record that right now isn't even recorded yet. So this is what I like, is I really like the idea that Woods 4 is kind of the first record that most people are going to hear. And just like another example is, I realized that one of the first European metal albums I ever heard in my life was Amorphous Tales from the Thousand Lakes. And the more that I've said that, the more that someone else in the room goes, yeah, you know what, me too. And then you realize that there's literally thousands of us out there that, like, Amorphous Tales from the Thousand Lakes was maybe like the first European metal thing, or the first thing that wasn't like Metallica, that we heard in our lives. And there's like thousands of us out there that have that same experience. And I think Woods 4, the Green album, is going to be that for us. It's almost like when I look at obviously us being Typo Negative fans, and I mean, me growing up listening to Typo Negative, and even listening to Carnivore, Pete Steele's previous band. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they did 2 Carnivore records, and it wasn't until like Pete Steele went through a personal relationship breakup of his own that he wrote that first Typo record, and then that's how the world became to know him.
Right.
So even though to people here, I see stuff online where there might be some a metal kid from Sudbury or something like that who kind of posts online about I miss black metal Woods of Ypres. I don't really care for what you guys are doing now. And so there's that history that we have as a black metal-based band in Canada, and we wrote about, Canadian things and things that were close to us. And but then I think the Green album is something broader than that, and we're finding that there's people, from all over the metal spectrum who are able to, maybe get hooked in on maybe just a few of the songs in the beginning, depending with their own, listening palette, and then, learn to love that record, and I'm enjoying seeing reviews now where people are saying like that is where the band is going. Is like, you know, what they started on the Green album is what the band's legacy will then become in future records.
Right.
So, you know, it's one thing for us to be, you know, doing black metal or, you know, those kind of styles. I think it's another thing for us, you know, really wanting to make a go at this. If we develop something which is, you know, beyond the black metal Woods of Ypres, but trying to establish something that really is more of our own. Whereas the first black metal, you know, Woods of Ypres records were, you know, an answer to everything that we were, you know, listening to, everything that we were inspired by. Mm-hmm. So I think 4 records in, now I feel like I kind of have a grip about, you know, what this band is really going to be about.
And the music that is going to inspire other people. Yeah,
I mean, it's really cool, man. I mean, that's I'm still, even for me, like I'm still a huge fan, you know, obviously of music, and you know, we have within the band we have lots of discussions about, you know, I got into Crowbar when I was like 15. You know, and to this day, you know, Kirk from Crowbar is like one of my idols, and it'd be like, you know, every time he kind of does something, I get excited again. You know, every time he does a new record, or he's doing something, or he's in the news, you know, I read it because I'm a fan, and I know I respect the guy so much that I always got his back. Like I'd always support him. You know what I mean? I'd never turn my back on him, and now that's my impression of what we're getting a lot from the listeners, and it's awesome, man. It's you know, we've been doing this a long time, so it's a great feeling to have a lot of that really positive feedback coming in. And for me, at you know, almost 31 years old, kind of still doing this, still trying to kind of make it happen, it helps me justify it too.
No doubt. Is Earache planning to re-release the other records as well, or is it just 4 at this point, and then maybe the others?
I think with taking us on, because there is so much material, and I mean, since then we've managed to get, you know, Woods 1 remixed or remastered once, you know, which was the right thing to do. So I mean, that record's ready to come out anytime, and I think, you know, for Woods 2, that came out in 2004, and Woods 3 that came out in 2007. You know, if we were going to put those out really big, I think that I'd want the same thing, as, you know, we would, you know, bring it somewhere and give it the best remix and remaster job possible.
Right.
And but I think it's as simple as, you know, we're totally, you know, on probation, not with Earache, but kind of like we're on probation with, you know, the world and the music buying public. So it's kind of like if they, you know, they put out Woods 4, the Green album, and basically, if people buy it and it catches fire, then I'm sure we're going to be doing a whole lot of things. If, you know, it kind of hits the world and it doesn't do so well, I think, you know, that self-explanatory, you know, what'll happen.
Fair enough.
But ideally, man, it'd be great to have those things re-released. And, you know, if we have a little career with Earache, you know, they're a label that does lots of reissues. So, sure. You know, 10 years from now, if they do something like a pack where you can buy Woods 1, 2, and 3 as a, you know, the black metal trilogy in one package, you know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, man.
The 25-year box set with all the records and the Woods 4.5 EP.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what's funny is you know, we've had crazier dreams since the beginning that somehow came true. You know, so yeah. It's like we're having this conversation now, and you know, I got a smile on my face, and I'm kind of laughing at it, like, well, you know, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
And but you know, we might be having this conversation in 10, 15 years, and a lot of good things could maybe have happened. So
well, I'm sure they will.
You know, so next year is the 10th anniversary of the band, so maybe, you know, we can at least put out Against the Seasons on vinyl or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.